Okay, so I'm going up to the Bosque Trail, and they might have a marathon today. I don't know. It might be over already. Let's see here. Let me go over here. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can ride my bike today. I don't really want to go to the gym. I'm already done. I might take another day off. Let's see if I can get in. Yeah, it's pretty full. Plenty of parking though. Let's see if I can ride my bike. I just want to ride my bike. I don't want to run. Okay. Marathon. Yeah, there's other areas where you can park and start the trail, but there's horses. Okay, if the horses can ride, then I can ride my bike. So there we go. These guys are really fast coming out of here. Slow down, people. Okay, let's see if there's a regular parking space over here. If not, there's a space over where I was sorting out my van the other day. No parking over here. Oh, can't get in there. Okay, so let me go down here and park over where I was parked the other day. Hopefully that person in front of me is not going to take my space. Oh, there's the castle of Nissan. I can park next to this dude. He moved. He's been here like every day. I can park next to him. That's fine. I'm gonna park down at the end. Okay, I'll park in here. I keep forgetting I have to park. Oh, there's horses as well. You can see the horses. The horses! The people standing right behind my van. Dude, get away from... He's like standing right behind my van, right there. I can't see him. Why do people do that? Like, do you want to move so I can move? I can't see him standing there.
Oh, I don't want to air you. She can't see where you are. Can you move a little bit?
Alright, this is fine. This guy, I don't know if he lives in that thing. He's like an artist or something. It's pretty cool. I mean, it looks like it's made of cardboard. Okay, it is now almost noon. So I'm going to do 2 hours and then just go over to Starbucks and then be at Starbucks till 8 p.m. So that'll be about 5 hours at Starbucks. And that's it. Okay, let's go. Good morning. I woke up to a crash right here on the freeway. I looked out my back window. It's just a fender bender, but it was like a gudung. It's that certain like crash noise. And when I was about 16, right before Christmas, I flew through a windshield in my car. We got broadsided, T-boned, and it was pretty bad. I didn't drive a car until I was 21. I was terrified because I would still do like the fake brake when I would be in the passenger seat. I would, every time I'd see brake lights, I would just like have this flinch, like this like reaction that never went away for like 20 years or something, a long time. But I'm not really a passenger in the vehicle much. Either I'll sit in the back seat or, you know, if I have to be in the front seat, then I just hold the oh shit bars, you know, the Jesus bars. You're like, Jesus. Yeah, so it was pretty terrifying. But yeah, and I missed my deadline to apply for college because I was injured and had to take some time off school and freaked out and all this stuff, and almost didn't get to go to college. And so I wrote an email to the school and I was like, I'm really sorry, but I was in a car crash and it kind of like messed everything up. So they were very understanding about it and I ended up going to college. But it is Tuesday. For some reason I thought it was Wednesday. I thought I'm leaving tomorrow. Yeah, so I'm going to, I was trying to think. I was gonna leave Thursday. I might leave Friday. I think I'll leave Thursday just because I'm a little concerned about my car tires. So I might need to get new car tires this weekend. But yeah, so I think I'll leave Thursday afternoon. And I think I'll drive, yeah, I've got all day Friday to drive. So I gotta figure it out. Yeah, I think I'll drive majority tomorrow. No, Thursday. Today's Tuesday. I don't even know what day it is. I'll drive the majority on Thursday. So I'll drive the 7 hours to Abilene. I think it's 7 hours to Abilene. Yeah. And then I'll stay there. And then I'll go from Abilene to Houston. I don't think I'm going to go through Dallas because it is like 10 hours plus 4 hours. So it is actually about an hour and a half longer. The drive's easy from Dallas to Houston, but I'd rather just go through Albuquerque to Lubbock to Albuquerque, Lubbock to Abilene. I do like the drive from Albuquerque to Houston though, like going through Wichita Falls. It's actually a really pretty drive. It's prettier. The other one is just kind of like open fields, like farming and not a lot to see. The other one you consistently hit towns. So, but once I get to, so I fill up here and then it's weird because so I fill up in Albuquerque because it's more expensive gas. Actually, I think it's cheaper gas here now. It's $2.34 a gallon. So I'll fill up here and then I'll drive all the way to Santa Rosa, fill up again, and then I'll drive into Texas. And then when I'm driving back, what I do before I get to New Mexico is I top up and top up and top up until I get to, keep it as full as possible in Texas where it's cheaper. And that way I'm not spending as much when I get to New Mexico. But the thing is that my car is like $25 to fill up a tank, and I get like 400 miles to a tank. So it's no, it's not even, it's like $20 to fill up a tank. And thankfully I'm so glad that I'm not flying anymore, because not only do we have the government shutdown, which has gone on for over a month now, the TSA lines are like 3-4 hours long, but I don't know if that's like TSA pre-check. Because if you're disabled or you have TSA pre-check, they have their own lines. But yeah, like the Houston airport is a mess right now because of it. People missing their flights. They're getting there 4 hours early and they're missing their flights for whatever reason. So I don't know. And they only have like 2 terminals open for TSA. So if you're flying out of like a different terminal, if you have to go through like the Spirit terminal, but then Spirit stopped flying to like 12 different airports. And so the other thing is, with the government shutdown, with those people furloughed, so they're not getting paid, so they're out of work, and they can't even get unemployment because they're still employed, they're just furloughed. So they're like still bound by the government, but they're not getting paid. Then you've got like the SNAP benefit issue with people not getting their food stamps, and anyone that criticizes, only like 10% of the country is getting food stamps. It's only like 42 million people, which is a lot of people, but most of them are working 2 or 3 jobs and still earning less than the poverty line, and they just don't have enough money to feed their kids. And people go, oh, you shouldn't have kids if you can't afford them. It's like, you have no idea. They could have been doing really well at some point, and then something could have happened, like they left an abusive relationship, or their husband left them, or they got a disability, or they lost their job because of the, whatever reason, you don't know, or they had a catastrophic life-changing event. You don't know what happened to them. And the most important thing is that they want to feed their kids. And a lot of these people go without their own meals. Like a lot of these parents will not eat because they need to feed their kids. Yeah, there's people across all aspects of society that skirt the system, but the majority of people really do need the help. And it's, I don't know, I'm not getting political, but it's not a good situation for the economy. It's not a good situation for anything. I went to Walmart on Sunday. It's completely empty. Sunday afternoon, this place is usually packed, completely empty. People are just like robbing supermarkets now. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But for me, it's like I help a lot of people that left domestically violent situations, and they got custody of their kids, and they have to start over after being a stay-at-home mom in an abusive relationship. Like, society doesn't give you a second chance like that. Like, you have to rely on a little bit of state assistance. So either way, it's just bad all around. I'm not getting into politics or anything like that, but it's not a good situation. But I am glad that I'm not flying home anymore, because the Spirit flights are free because I have all the flight credits and points. But to fly from Albuquerque, I'd have to go through Vegas and then get to Houston, which is like a 2-day travel day, and it's exhausting, plus with a red eye and layovers and all that. It's just quicker to drive. At least if I'm driving, I've got a bed in my car. I can just car camp. So it's yeah, it's not a good situation. And also this week is a pretty slow travel week, so people are going to the airport going, oh look, there's no lines. I'm like, yeah, but this is one of those weeks during the year, there's a couple weeks during the year where there's like no travel. Like, it's before the holiday, it's after Halloween, people are back at school, you got the government furlough, so yeah, it's like it's a slow travel week anyway. But then get closer to Thanksgiving, it's going to be screwed because you've got like no TSA workers. So it's just crazy. The worst time of year to be cutting people's food off and making it very difficult for people to go see their families. I mean, yeah, so I'm glad that I'm in Albuquerque. I think I will stay here through the winter. I have to go back for like 5 days, 6 days this time around. I thought I was only going back for a couple days. But I'm going to get back to Houston on Friday. And then I've got Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I've got an appointment Monday for the VA. And then I have another appointment Wednesday. And then I'm going to leave right after that appointment Wednesday and just drive back to Albuquerque. So I should be back on Thursday morning, which means that I only have a week here. So then I turn around and drive back the next week. So it's fine. I mean, it's easy driving back and forth. Not a lot of wear and tear on my car. My car is pretty zippy. It's just a little SUV. And yeah, got everything in there that I need. So I've got duplicate things like toiletries and clothes and all that stuff. So really I just have to transfer the important stuff and just take my Jackery, which I don't really think, well, yeah, I should take it just so I have it. But yeah, I just have to basically transfer my rolling backpack suitcase thing, my laptop bag, my Jackery, perishable foods that I'll take. I've got a cooler, and then yeah, and it's just basically just drive the 10 hours. I can drive 10 hours in a day pretty easily. I can also do the whole 13-hour drive, no problem, which is fine. But yeah, so I think when I come back on Wednesday, I should be done before 10 a.m. on Wednesday. So I have I just have to go do something at 9 a.m. So I should be done. It's only a 5-minute thing, which is kind of like wasting a whole 2 extra days for a 5-minute thing. But that's on Wednesday. I really need to get that one done. And then after that, I will hightail out of Houston and then just drive as far as I can. So I have milestone areas. So I can drive to Lubbock, which is 7 hours from Houston. I can drive to Amarillo, which is like 9 hours, I think. And then it's only like 4 hours to Albuquerque, or I can drive Lubbock to, I don't ever stay in Clovis or any of like those state line towns like Farwell and stuff. They seem a little sketchy. There's really no rest area. But either I stop in Abilene, which is 5 hours, Lubbock, which is 7, or I go up to Amarillo, which is 9, and then the next morning I go straight to Albuquerque. When I'm coming back, I either do the 5 hours or 4 hours to Amarillo, which is kind of up and down, which is not really conducive, or I go the 5 hours to Lubbock or the 7 hours to Abilene, and the next day I do the shorter drive. So I always do the longer drive on the first day, but those are kind of my milestones. And the Cracker Barrels are great. I just stay at each Cracker Barrel, which is fine. And then I get up early. It's going to be cold now though. It's going to be nice and cold overnight, so I might have to bring my big blanket with me. But that's it. So that's kind of the plan. So now I'm going to go do my bike ride. I've got a call at noon, I think. Someone's going to call me. I'll probably still be on my bike ride. Someone's going to call me about doing some digital stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. It's like my hand still isn't 100% for me to do like 8 hours of extensive programming. But I'll see what they need. I mean, I don't do sales. I work with salespeople, or I used to work with salespeople, where I would scope out the projects and do the budgeting and RFPs and stuff like that. But I'm not the salesperson. I don't do the like schmoozing and you know the 2 bottles of wine and a steak dinner. Like I don't do that. But somebody else does that. They get the deal and then they give it to me, and I basically manage the whole project. So I do all the work. I just don't do the selling. So I don't know, because it's all like, well, we can't pay you, but we'll give you a commission. I'm like, no, I'm not working for free. I don't care if there's a commission. I'm not working for free. It's like you have to pay me something up front. So yeah, so that's why I don't do sales. And then I've got another call at 3, so I'm going to talk to my friend at 3 about some stuff. So yeah, so it's kind of an easy day. Weather's beautiful. It was not so cold. I got really warm last night. I had my thermal top on, and then I had I wear the same shirt. I have a lot of these gray shirts. So I got really hot in the middle of the night and ended up having to take my thermal top off and put on my regular top. And so I didn't even have my sleeping bag last night. I just had my Japanese blanket. So I was like, why is it so hot tonight? Yeah, so it's probably travel menopause. I'm probably just getting old. I'm going to be 47 on Friday, so I'm getting old now. So anyway, but yeah, so that said, I'm going to go over to the Bosque Trail, which is great. I'm just here every day riding, so do my 27 miles every day. Feels good. And I just listen to YouTube, or I watch YouTube while I'm riding, so I have my little screen down there. So yeah, so I just have my headphones on, and It's really busy right now. Why is it so busy? It's really busy. These are all government workers that can't go to work today. So, because they've got Department of Defense out here, they've got the Air Force, and I think the military also aren't getting paid. I don't know. I read somewhere that maybe it's just National Guard or something, but like they still have to show up to work, and it's so like manipulative. It's like narcissistic government shutdown. It's like, you know, we're gonna still make you go to work. We're not gonna pay you. And we're not going to allow you to take any time off because then you won't have a job to come back to. And these people are like career government workers. Like that's the only job they have. And you're just going to manipulate them so they can't even get unemployment. They can't get any assistance because they're still employed. They're just not getting paid. And some of them still have to come to work, like the TSA workers. Like otherwise they're not going to have a job. I'm like, that is so manipulative. Like, what is wrong with this country? This is not the land of the free. This is the land of the freaks. I don't know. It's just, it's really, really upsetting because this person just took 2 spaces up right there. Okay, this space right here. I'm like, why would you do that, dude? Okay, I'm gonna go to the end here. I think there's a space down here. Photo check-in. What is happening over here? There is something going on here today. Everybody's getting ready to go. They're all warming up like they're running a marathon. It's probably a marathon. So I'm going to park here, which I think is fine. Yeah, somehow the parking spaces are all kind of messed up right now. I don't know, but I'm parked next to the disabled parking. So I have no one going to park next to me. Let me see if I can find the line. Oh, I see. Okay. That's weird. They drew the disabled parking space over half of the regular parking space, which is fine because if you look here, you have to have these blue lines, right? Because the whole purpose of a disabled parking space is not so much to be close to a building, it's that you have to have the space on each side of your vehicle to get your wheelchair out. So now I'm straddling 2 spaces because, as you can see, I don't know if you can see, the blue line is covering half of the parking space, so but that's fine. I don't think anyone's gonna say anything. Anyway, but yeah, people go, oh, you know, we see people get out of the disabled space, you know, they look perfectly fine. I'm like, you have no idea. They could have a good day today, but they could have 7 really bad days and need a walker and wheelchair. Like, you have no idea what their disability is. Maybe they can't really walk very far, or maybe they, you know, somebody is in the car with them that you're not seeing that actually has the wheelchair. But yeah, the whole reason that you have disabled spaces is because you have to have the space on each side of the vehicle to get your adaptive technology out. So, all right, that said, let me go ride and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.